sign of unity among the various Christian communities, the ecumenical ceremony of completion of the restoration of the Edicule of the Holy Sepulchre was held on Wednesday, March 22. The second Lenten pilgrimage took place in Gethsemane, journeying with Jesus in the sanctuaries of Passion in Jerusalem. In Nazareth, during the Feast of St. Joseph celebrated on March 20, the headquarters of the Christian Media Center was inaugurated. Built on a property of the custody of the Holy Land, the new center will offer free extracurricular activities for youngsters between the ages of 14 and 29 from all over the territory. Special day for Christians not only in the Holy Land but in the entire world. In Jerusalem, the ecumenical ceremony of completion of the restoration and rehabilitation of the Edicule of the Holy Sepulchre was held Wednesday, March 22 at 10 in the morning. The historic agreement was reached exactly 1 year ago on March 22, 2016. The representatives of the three religious communities, which are the primary custodians of the Basilica as determined by the status quo, proceeded with the signing of the document. The Greek Orthodox Patriarch Theophilus III, the Apostolic Armenian Patriarch Nuran Manoukian, and the then Custos of the Holy Land Pier Battista Pizzaballa. In the front row at the ceremony, apart from the three signatories, the current Custos of the Holy Land Francesco Patton, the Apostolic Nuncio Giuseppe Lazzarato, who represented the Holy See, and Archbishop of Constantinople Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew. Among those present were also the representatives of other churches of the Holy Sepulchre, the Coptic, the Syriac, and the Ethiopian communities, as well as those of other Christian denominations in the Holy Land, and various religious and civil authorities, including the Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras. The many faithful who packed the Basilica clearly proved that it was a historic moment.
Questo restauro è stato possibile.
This restoration was made possible thanks to everyone's willingness, and especially thanks to the three major churches that were able to envision a change and to lead everyone, even the most recalcitrant, to an agreement that was necessary as well as long overdue and expected by all the communities and by our faithful. This restoration also shows our desire to heal disunion so that we can inspire the new generations to a better and higher understanding of love in the Church that bears the wounds of our divisions. So this seemed an impossible mission, but it has proved possible. And, repeating what the angel Gabriel told Mary, nothing is impossible with God.
Parafrasando quello che l'angelo Gabriele dice a Maria, nulla è impossibile con Dio.
It's a message to the world and to our region here that we can, what is considered to be impossible can be possible. And this is what we've done today. And I think it's a sign of inspiration for everybody that we as human beings, we can overcome ourselves and attain to what is needed to peaceful and harmonious coexistence and share this Holy Land, and especially Jerusalem, that is equally sacred to the Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and of course Islam.
The restoration works, which were directed by Professor Antonia Moropoulou from the National Technical University of Athens and lasted almost 10 months, entailed a conservative and structural intervention.
We are proud today to deliver to the three Christian communities the Holy Edicule rehabilitated. We had great challenges to address, like to reassure the structural integrity and address the deformations which we achieved, to reveal the values and to preserve them and show the continuity of the history, which is now a fact.
Sì, l'evento di questa giornata è assolutamente...
This event is absolutely extraordinary because it is the result, we could say it is the first ripe fruit of a collaboration between the three main communities here in Jerusalem. The Greek community, the Latin community represented obviously by us and by the Patriarchate, and the Armenian community. This is a very significant event also because this year we will celebrate Easter on the same day, and perhaps this is also a good sign for future celebrations together.
Magari questo è anche il segno che in futuro potremo celebrarla non solo nello stesso giorno, ma anche insieme.
The meaning of today is a meaning of unity, collaboration, cooperation, unity. So we are very pleased that Greek Orthodox, Armenians and Catholics came together, decided to restore the Holy Sepulchre, and we invoke the grace of our Lord to all of them, to you, to the whole world. We pray for peace and unity.
The second Lenten pilgrimage journeying with Jesus in the sanctuaries of Passion in Jerusalem made stops at Gethsemane. The evangelists Matthew and Mark denote Gethsemane as the place where the drama of the Passion of the Lord truly begins. Human frailty expressed by this moment of sorrow and distress emerges from Christ's prayer. For the Eucharistic celebration, the guardian friars of the Basilica gathered together along with various priests and local Christians. The Mass was celebrated by Father Donaciano Paredes, and the homily was given by Father Matteo Manari. Jesus reminded his sleeping disciples to pray so they would not fall into temptation. This teaching is also contained in the Lord's Prayer, praying the Father not to abandon his children in the moment of temptation and asking him to give them strength to overcome temptation. The evangelist Matthew tells of the greeting of Judas followed by a kiss. It was a customary form of greeting in the Eastern populations and indicated a close relationship of friendship.
We're celebrating Jesus preparing for the final sacrifice he makes on Calvary. During Lent, we're thinking about prayer, we're thinking about fasting, and we're thinking about almsgiving. All of this we offer with the agony of Jesus for the salvation of souls.
Among the evangelists, Luke is the only one to recall Jesus' bloody sweat caused by his extreme anguish and the comforting angel sent by the Father in that moment of darkness.
This is something because all of us have difficulties in our lives. And here we can come to Jesus who suffered himself as a true man, even though he was true God. And he understands our suffering and he takes it to his Father in heaven.
So in my opinion, it's very important to have masses like this that will reunite all the pilgrims who are coming here, especially in these days where the situation in the Middle East is very, very difficult. And the situation of all the Christians is becoming too much difficult, so it's really important to reunite before also the Easter in the Holy Land, in this holy place.
The feast of Saint Joseph, the most pure guardian of the Virgin Mary, the man who nurtured the Son of God, was celebrated in Nazareth on March 20 with a solemn Mass presided by the Custos of the Holy Land, concelebrated by several priests and religious and attended by many faithful.
San Giuseppe ci insegna che dobbiamo
Joseph teaches us that we must let God speak to us even in surprising ways. This is the meaning of the dream Joseph had. Our intelligence does not take us too far, but if we open our hearts and minds to God's suggestions, then sometimes we will be able to find an explanation to difficult situations.
Spiegazioni anche a situazioni difficili che ci troviamo a vivere.
After the concelebrated Mass and the procession to the crypt that was built on the place where the Holy Family lived, the headquarters of the Christian Media Center was inaugurated. It is located in a building just in front of the Basilica of the Annunciation.
Nazareth è uno dei luoghi simbolo della comunicazione di Dio nei confronti dell'umanità.
Nazareth is one of the symbols of God's communication to humanity. Here we can learn how to accept a message that comes from God. Our plan is therefore to continue to consolidate the commitment of communication the custody is carrying out through the Christian Media Center in Jerusalem, through this section of the Christian Media Center in Nazareth, as well as through the magazines, the websites, and the different applications.
Attraverso tutti gli altri mezzi, le riviste, i siti web, le applicazioni.
The mission of the Christian Media Center is to create bridges between the Christians of the Holy Land and the Christians of the whole world through the media. The branch located in Nazareth specializes in liturgical broadcasting and evangelization programs.
Per noi, con l'inaugurazione del centro del CMC di Nazareth,
The inauguration of the CMC of Nazareth is the culmination of a 4-year project. We broadcast in about 20 countries through 8 TV channels promoted by the Custody of the Holy Land in collaboration with the Canzia Nova community, the Shalom community, and the Focolarini. Nazareth is the place of the announcement of the Word, of the Gospel that reaches the entire world.
che è il luogo dell'annunzio della parola, del Vangelo, che arriva in tutto il mondo.
The Feast of St. Joseph and the inauguration of the center coincided with the 12th anniversary of the mission of the Canzia Nova community in the Holy Land. This mission, which originated in Brazil, is dedicated to evangelization through social media.
O CMC
The CMC opens a new subdivision. We started in Jerusalem, and after a few years' journey, we were able to open a new branch in Nazareth. The good news starts here in Nazareth, and from here reaches the entire world. We already were producing news in 6 languages, and now we have the opportunity to broadcast the celebrations that take place here in Nazareth. For us at Canzia Nova, this is a blessing and at the same time a commitment because it is a service. Our mission is evangelization.
evangelizar, e a gente pode.
The mission of the Franciscan friars does not just involve the churches and sanctuaries. Even the living stones of the land of the 5th Gospel receive special attention, which is translated into support for Christian families and appropriate accommodation. Restructuring work will also offer job opportunities to young people so that they are not forced to emigrate or become victims of fear or anxiety.
إحدى المشاكل الأساسية اللي بيواجهها الإنسان وأي إنسان هو إنه بحاجة إلى
One of the main problems that a human being has to face is finding a house to live in. If a man does not find a home to live, it will be very difficult for him to find a job. Most of the houses we own are located within the old city because of the history of Jerusalem. During the last decades, however, the custody has carried out different housing projects in different locations, including Bet Hanina and Bet Fej. We also have houses in Bethlehem and in Nazareth, and we are going to build new ones even in Jaffa. In Jerusalem, we support about 400 families in the Old City, 130 houses outside the Old City, and 50 houses in Bethlehem.
في مدينة القدس داخل البلدة القديمة بنقدر نعد نحو 400 عائلة. خارج البلدة القديمة في عنا نحو 130 عائلة. في مدينة بيت لحم عنا بحدود 50 عائلة.
Following in the footsteps of their founder, St. Francis of Assisi, the custody of the Holy Land offers a home without any distinction to young families, to the poor, to the needy, and to the elderly. After 6 years of involvement in this project, we all feel like one big family.
مشكلة السكن عنا كبيرة لأن الأجرات غالية وجوزي مريض بقدرش Not having a house could be a serious problem because the rent is very high and my husband is sick and cannot afford it. So a big problem has been solved. We thank the Franciscans, and every day I thank God and the friars who welcomed us and offered us a comfortable apartment which is fit for my husband's health needs.
ونلاقي من الزوج لوضعه الصحي.
Christian families in the Holy Land are the main recipients of a series of activities and events of the Franciscans. A good part of the Good Friday collection is used to renovate existing homes that have deteriorated over time.
قريب صار يمكن 35 سنة.
I have lived here in this house for about 35 years. I got married and then I came here. We had an electrical problem. The electrical wires were exposed. There was water everywhere and the walls were heavily damaged. So we had to use buckets if we needed water. I am grateful to God and to the Franciscan friars who treat us well and have helped us in every possible way.
تعاملوا معنا كتير منيح الفرنسيسكان واحنا شو بده يطلعنا من الدار.
صار لي ساكنة في هذه الدار 56 سنة.
I have lived here for 56 years. I gave birth and raised all my children in this place. This is an addition. The bathroom and kitchen used to be outside, but when the Franciscans came to fix the house, they built a kitchen and a bathroom inside for me. I will be grateful to them forever.
بنالي أنا المطبخ والحمام.
The Franciscan initiatives in the housing sector are not limited to a single city. In Bethlehem, the custody launched the so-called Baby Jesus and St. Catherine projects thanks to the generous funding from benefactors and donors from around the world. The Good Friday collection for the Holy Land is a simple and effective way to contribute.
The mission of the Christian Media Center is to bring the message of the Holy Land, the land of the fifth gospel, to the world. Broadcasts, reports, news, documentaries, the latest happenings in the church and of the daily life of Christians in the Holy Land. You can help us in this mission, raising awareness and spreading the message of the Holy Land. Help us. Visit our website,